It's never been a better time to be a Revon customer. When you sign up or switch to Revon broadband internet, not only do you receive free installation, a free modem, and 3 months of service for free, you are also automatically entered to win up to $5,000 in prizes, like a 60-inch smart HD TV with Bose surround sound system and Rev TV Premium, Rev Voice home phone service, complete with a portable phone system, a laptop, and Revon Extreme broadband internet service. Already a Revon customer? No problem. You are also eligible to win a prize package as well. What are you waiting for? Call us to sign up or switch today.
A young man's life ended tragically last night. NB12 is on scene of that gruesome accident. Local religious leaders respond to the Pope's comments on homosexuality. And does this sound like music to your ears?
Tasty.
Well, you may be one of millions of people addicted to a popular video game. We've got those stories and much more for you tonight. I'm Nakia DeVoe, and this is NB12 Weekend. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Sunday for NB12 Weekend. A routine ride home from work took a turn for the worse last night for two young men after the vehicle they were in flipped over during a collision. The passenger was thrown out of the vehicle, but the driver was decapitated in the crash. It was an emotional and gruesome scene last night after a man died and another one was critically injured during that two-car collision on Prince Charles Drive. Police Press Liaison Officer Sergeant Chrislyn Skippings says the incident unfolded around 8:30 last night as a gray 2002 Nissan Maxima and black 2004 Kia Sorento collided as they were heading east on Prince Charles Drive just in front of St. Augustine's College Monastery. The driver of the Sorento, which flipped and landed on the side of the road, was decapitated and died at the scene, while his passenger was critically injured after being ejected from the vehicle. Family members at the scene identified the victim as 28-year-old Jason McDonald. He and his passenger were reportedly heading home after ending their shift at Senior Frogs. McDonald's emotional family openly sobbed at the scene. Skipping says it was clear speed was a factor in the deadly accident.
At this point, speed appears to be a major contributor to this accident. We are speaking with the driver of the Maxima, but I can also say to you that the driver of the Kia Sorento would have been the one that would have lost his life in this particular accident. And so with that too, we also want to extend condolences to the family of the deceased with this most tragic accident.
Also at the scene last night were BEC workers who worked feverishly to fix a lamp pole that snapped during the accident. That outage left hundreds of residents in eastern New Providence without power for nearly an hour.
But as you look around or if you take note of it, you will notice that the lamp pole has been snapped in this particular accident. And so like I said, we're in the preliminary stages of our investigations.
Due to this fatality, Skippings is asking motorists to slow down on the nation's roadways.
I want to encourage members of the public who use our newly thoroughfare to kindly pay attention to the speed limit. We're asking you to drive with due care and attention, and we're asking you to be courteous to all our road users who will use the thoroughfare throughout New Providence and the Family of Islands.
Well, just hours after that plea, a traffic fatality claimed the life of another man, this one in the nation's second city. According to Grand Bahama Police, the incident took place around 2 this morning at the intersection of Queens Highway and Yellow Pine Road. Police said the accident occurred when a red and black Suzuki XR750 motorcycle traveling west on Queens Highway and a green 2006 Honda Civic traveling east on Queens Highway and turning south on Yellow Pine Road collided. The male driver of the motorcycle died at the scene. Now, the condition of the 49-year-old driving the Civic was unknown up to airtime. Traffic police on that island are heading that investigation. Well, the nation's murder count jumped to 67 overnight after a man was gunned down in Yellow Elder Gardens. According to police reports, the incident occurred around 1:30 this morning. Police say the victim was in the area of Lightbourne Avenue off Seymour Street when several men in a white four-door rental car pulled up and opened fire on several vehicles in the area. Police say the victim, who was a resident of Bain and Grants Town, was shot multiple times about the body. Now, police have few leads in this case and are asking anyone with information in this case to contact them at 911-919 or the Central Detective Unit at 502-9991. Well, along with murder, another hot-button topic in this country is homosexuality. Two well-known religious leaders are speaking out on comments made by Catholic Pope Francis, who said recently in Brazil that gays should not be judged or marginalized. President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Ranford Patterson, and President of Bahamas Faith Ministries, Dr. Miles Monroe, said they do not support the pontiff's views. Our Jasmine Bonamy has the story in this report.
It was the comments heard around the world. The Pope's comments came during an 80-minute flight with journalists from Brazil, and since then, those comments have ignited worldwide debate. According to international media reports, Francis said homosexuals should not be judged or marginalized and should be integrated into society. But he reaffirmed church teaching that homosexual acts are sin. Catholic Archbishop of the Bahamas Patrick Pinder has called the Pope's sentiment a refreshing one, but said Francis prefaced his statement by saying the official statement of the Church's teachings for homosexuals to be treated with dignity and not marginalized is very clear, even though the Catholic Church teaches that homosexuality is intrinsically disordered. But the comments are not sitting well with Monroe and Patterson. Monroe, who was in Brazil when the Pope made the comments, said he believes the Pope shared his personal opinion and not that of the religious doctrine he is bound to. He added that Francis' position contrasts that of former Pope Benedict, who signed a document in 2005 that said men who had deep-rooted sexual tendencies should not be priests.
I was very disappointed personally, and even as a civic leader in the church, not just here in the Bahamas, but also in my international relations, very disappointed in the Pope's statement, which seemed to suggest that he is claiming that he cannot judge individuals who embrace, choose, and encourage a lifestyle that is clearly stated in Scripture that the Pope is supposed to be representing as a lifestyle that is not acceptable in the context of Christianity. People who want to perpetrate a lifestyle are waiting for affirmation, confirmation, and credibility. And what the Pope said is very dangerous, in my view, because he, in his what I would consider reckless statement to the press in Brazil, which of course is global every time he speaks, will give people who are looking for credibility to embrace or promote or even accept a lifestyle exactly what they need. They will say things like, and I've heard locally already in our country, where leaders in our community saying, well, the Pope's position sounds good, and now I think it means that we are good to go.
Meantime, Patterson also expressed his disagreement with the Pope's comments.
The church, we must not lose our footing as it relates to certain issues in our country. There are some things I believe that we have a right to speak out against. Now, everyone has a right to do as they please, but I believe that the church, we must have a standard that we must uphold at all times.
When asked whether Francis' comments could set the stage for a greater appeal of same-sex marriage in the Bahamas, Monroe said people who want to perpetrate a lifestyle are waiting for affirmation, confirmation, and credibility. On the other hand, Patterson says he doesn't think the comments will have that much of an impact on a call for gay rights in the Bahamas.
The gay marriage issue in the Bahamas at this time is null and void.
Monroe says he's planning to write a position paper to the Vatican expressing his disappointment in the Pope. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
In other news, increased congestion on the BTC network has resulted in a downgrade in service, but BTC officials say they are working feverishly to complete upgrades to their voice and data systems. In recent months, cellular customers complained about dropped calls and data service. Senior Manager of Public Relations at BTC, Jerome Sawyer, told our news team that more customers continue to log onto the network. But Sawyer says there is some good news from data users, revealing that millions are being spent on the 4G system. Sawyer adds that the introduction of its 4G network led to a 28.75% increase in data usage from 3.5 gigabytes of data usage per day to nearly triple that, 1 terabyte of data per day.
We're looking, for instance, to even improve the data experience with the introduction later this year of LTE, 4G LTE, which is the next generation to LTE. So the data experience, for instance, is going to improve tremendously. You know, a lot of the congestion that we met 2 years ago had to do with people trying to use data and voice. And so we've been able to improve the network by improving the 2G network, which just carries or primarily carries voice. And certainly we've added the 4G network. And so we're looking now to take that specific part of what we do to another level.
Meantime, mobile calls on BTC's network have increased from 2.6 million per day to around 3.1 million, a growth of around 500,000 calls, according to Sawyer. BTC has previously announced plans to erect several new cell towers to handle the calls.